All right. We're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an STS Pod.Club production. I'm BT, and that guy over there, let me just say, there's no rumor that Lance starred as Lance Bovine in the adult film To Thrill a Mockingbird. Let me say that one more time.
Yeah,
There's
let's.
no rumors that Lance starred as Lance Bovine in the
Bovine.
adult film To Thrill a Mockingbird. No rumor, no truth to those rumors at all. He is from Chicago, the home of the best damn pizza in the world. He's the snark of excellence. Almost knocked my microphone down. My partner in crime, your friend and mine, he is Lance Levine.
If it was bovine with a capital V, then I would have.
No, no, no.
I
Shh.
wouldn't be able to.
K-Babe, K-Babe.
I wouldn't be able to deny it at that point. But I'm here in the Roulette Flamin' Limon Dorito Studios as the Taj is so hot and heavy right now.
Oh, that scares me. That name does. Just real quick before we get started tonight, we have two episodes being released on Saturday. It's our April 1st episode at midnight. So stay up to midnight and you'll get the episode
Yep.
at midnight, April 1st special episode, and then rolling into Mempo at 1 p.m. Also, and Lance, I hadn't told you about this. We have a new sponsor.
This is
It's
news. All right.
ArizonaBayCoffee.com. Let me say that again. ArizonaBayCoffee.com. And if you did not get that, there is a link of it in the description of this episode. They have released a new flavor, and it is called Morning Shiznit. That's right, Morning
Woohoo!
Shiznit. And you'll get, if you go to their website, ArizonaBayCoffee.com, you'll get free shipping if you order Morning
Excellent.
Shiznit. That's right.
Uh,
Lance, up above, it says Dyn-O-Mite. That's what we're doing tonight. Dyn-O-Mite. I didn't even say it at the very beginning, so I'll say it again. Dyn-O-Mite. So this is Dynamite, and this is draft day. So
yep.
you just explain exactly. We kind of stealing an idea from fantasy football and
Mhm.
WWE draft, and tell them what we're doing.
So first off, is that logo of you? Are you wearing a chef's hat above me there? It looks like you're wearing a chef's
No,
hat.
no, my brain's exploding. It's the Dynamite logo. It's a brand new
Oh,
Dynamite
got it.
logo.
I
It's
just I
you,
thought
the Dynamite. You're the
you're
Dynamite, and that's my head.
you're quite the cook, so I thought maybe you were wearing the chef's
That's
hat.
right.
So
Well,
anyway, all right.
I made turkey burgers tonight. Oh,
Uh,
they were so
I'm
good. Oh,
starving.
so good.
I didn't even eat supper yet over here. I'm starving. So are we? Wait, are we recording this in the morning? Is this
We
kayfabe? What
are
am I
at 4
doing here?
p.m. I made turkey burgers for tonight. So we're at 4
Got
p.m.
it.
on a Wednesday because we want to do this right before AEW comes on so you can watch it and see our draft picks. So go ahead and tell them what
I
we're doing.
think. All right. So what we are doing, we've talked about this endlessly. How Rampage sucks, and we need to do something. In fact, back in the day, we repaired NXT. Remember that we did the show with the top 10 ways that we were going to fix NXT. So I have been like pondering, what can we do to
I
repair
think it was
Rampage? Because it
205 Live, not NXT. It was
was
205
it
Live that
205.
we fixed.
Okay,
Yes,
maybe
yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we repaired a show of WWE. We gave it our best effort to fix it. And so we're trying to do the same with Rampage. So one of the ideas I came up with is a split roster. We've talked about this before. Doing whatever we can to make Rampage seem watchable. Because right now, I know you don't even watch it. If I do
No,
watch it, I
that's
rarely
wrong. I
watch it
watch it
live
every
on.
week. So you're wrong. I
But
watch it
but
every
you're not,
week.
but you like zip through it and stuff, and
I
like
do that with
it's
all
not must
wrestling.
see.
So
It's not must see. Like for me, Dynamite is must see. I must see Dynamite live. I must see Raw live, and Raw has been on quite the rebound. But anyway, so Rampage, everybody knows it's just unwatchable at this point. Like it's missable. It's very missable. So what we came up with was an idea to do the split roster, and what I wanted to do was a draft. Like you and I actually are the GMs. We are the TK and TK Junior of Rampage and Dynamite. And so one of us is going to have Rampage, one of us is going to have Dynamite. and we're literally going to do a fantasy draft to see what show gets what people, and so that we can improve it, because I feel like they're trying to squeeze way too much stuff on both shows. They don't squeeze enough onto Rampage altogether. And there's other things that we can fix, like the time might be the wrong time for that show, might be the wrong day of the week. You talked about having more Attitude Era type material on that show. So there's other things that we can do, but splitting the roster and putting name stars on Rampage is one of the ways. So that's what we came up with.
That's right. And we really won't, we've talked about a couple of ways to do it, either on Thursday night. You felt really good because you're going to be picking for Rampage tonight, right?
I'm taking Rampage. I'm taking on
so
the
you
Herculean
talked about
task
putting
of trying to fix Rampage.
Putting it head to head with SmackDown. We do want to go 2 hours. We both agreed upon that. But right in the middle, we're going to pick 20 picks. After we both have picked 10, we'll take a break in the middle. When we come back, we'll give us some ideas of what we're doing, especially since we'll already have some of our picks. Also, when it's all said and done, I will have some pictures, some JPEGs of what Lance picked, who I picked, and at this time next year, we're going to make it the second annual draft, and we will have the list of his 20 wrestlers. How many wins did his 20 wrestlers get? And how many wins did my 20 wrestlers get in that year? So we'll kind of see, was Rampage better than Dyn-O-Mite, blah, blah, blah. Just really, it's one of those things where it was an idea that Lance had, and I was real apprehensive about doing it, but we had that little meeting. It's on Patreon, and I got really excited because I'm huge in fantasy football. I played fantasy football when we got the results from we got the stats from a newspaper. So that tells you how long ago I have been playing fantasy football. So I'm excited about this, but the first thing we got to do is we're going to flip a coin here and see. Hold on just a minute. Believe it or not, if you're with us, I'm going to do this. And if not, if you're not with us, just hang on. You can actually watch the video. If you want to, you can always watch the video. All right. So
click
here
to
we go.
the menu.
Heads or tails, Lance?
Tails.
What the hell?
Click to reset. Achievement unlocked. Baby steps.
All right, one more time. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Heads.
Heads it is. I wonder what the hell
Heads
that was
it is.
doing.
Click to reset.
No, that's
See?
a weird voice. Sorry about that, guys. That sounded really weird. So give me just a second to get our
hilarious.
draft set up here.
So you can pick. You are first
I do
pick.
get the first pick. So here we go.
So Dyn-O-Mite with the first pick in the first round.
That's right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this up for us to look at. But you play music or something, Lance. Talk, monkey, talk. Look, while I'm doing this.
Be funny. This is my friend. He's funny. Be funny. Tell jokes.
Be funny.
So we talked about, some of the things we talked about, like Brian said, was moving the time slot to be directly up against SmackDown. I thought go on Thursday nights, go directly against Impact, because there's only so many nights of the week you can do. Saturday's obviously not going to work. Sunday, you got pay-per-views to deal with and so on. But TK doesn't want to run against football. I'm like, drop that bullshit, because most people TiVo or DVR or whatever, stream things, whatever. So it doesn't matter if you're up against football. So you got to drop the archaic thinking that you can't go against the Jacksonville.
They won't do
Jaguars
that. I told you that. I don't feel like they'll do that.
So,
I think they would go against SmackDown before they went against football. So that's just my opinion.
So something's got to give, because Rampage at 9 p.m. on the Central Time is just not working, and they're not putting stars on there. They're not putting storylines on there. So something's got to give with that. So one thing could be the time slot. You had mentioned, going with more PG-13 or whatever, PG-18 material, R material. I'm like, they already blade, and they already say the word shit throughout every show. So I'm like, I don't know how much more you can push the envelope, but push the envelope. That's another idea. Or run, like I said, run on Thursdays against Impact, because
My idea was go ahead and keep it at 9 o'clock, so it'd be like 10 o'clock Eastern time, and then go ahead with 2 hours until midnight, and then you could have an R-rated show there. But who knows? Really, we're just going to do the draft and any kind of ideas. Also, I want everyone, if you get it on Patreon first, which you will get it first on Patreon, comment. Give us some comments. Say something about our picks. Say any suggestions you might have to change. We love comments and everything, and you can message us on, if you're longtime Patreon people, you could always message us on Twitter and so forth and so on. So I'm going with my number one pick, Lance. I might as well go ahead and put him on there.
Okay, here we go. I'm excited. Who am I not going to be able to pick? What? No way.
Yes way.
You are going with CM Punk as your top draft choice?
I am. Nobody moved the envelope like CM Punk did. So if he doesn't show up, then I'll lose every point I could get. But I'm going with CM Punk.
That is a risky pick for that very reason. Because, like, when I was first putting the roster together, I didn't know if I should even include him or not. Because what if he doesn't come back? What if he shows up at WrestleMania next weekend,
He can't. Yeah, he's still under contract.
No, I know he can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, what if they just come to a release agreement and he never comes back? That's your first draft.
He's working for me now, so I do whatever
that's like
I can.
Mike Trout pulling a hamstring, man. That's like Mike Trout pulling a hamstring in the spring training if he doesn't come back for you. So wow. So I have justify it, man. Tell me.
Oh, I'm picking him because he's a star. CM Punk's a star. He moved the envelope, the arrow, whatever you want to call it. When ratings were big, and he is a star. He's caused more shit in the last since the pay-per-view where he did the scrum than even I believe in inside shit when it comes to Dyn-O-Mite. I believe he still has a good year or 2 years in him, and people know who CM Punk is.
Yep. Okay. All right.
And the general fan knows more about CM Punk than they do maybe anyone on this roster except maybe Bryan Danielson. That's in my opinion.
Okay. All right. My first pick, in an effort to repair Rampage, you've left me no choice but to go with Kenny Omega. So I have to go with Kenny Omega as my top pick. International star. Just obviously can still go, as we've been seeing the last couple months that he's been back. But I have to have Kenny Omega as my top dog. Great promo, great everything.
All right. Kenny Omega's going to Rampage. Woo!
Yep.
No argument there
whatsoever. I don't know if he's a
heel or face. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kenny has such a appeal there that I don't know. He can work anybody. That's the thing I like about him, and that's the best thing. All right, another.
Wait, before your next pick, I want to make sure the fans know this. The listeners, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We are picking 20 people, or 20 entities on each team. 13 singles males, 3 tag teams, and 4 women.
We're not doing that. So, remember, we said we weren't going to do it like that. That's right. Oh. That was what the text was about. We're going to mix it up. We'll get who we think we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got my picks laid out that way, so I'm going to have.
I said you could go ahead and lay yours out, but I'm not sure mine will be laid out like that.
Okay.
So, all right, my second pick, and it's because we. Number one, I wanted these guys because of the talent in the group, and also because it is, a whole group. It is 3 members of Death Triangle, and I'm going with Death Triangle as my second pick.
That sucks because I want I had them high on my chart.
I'm huge. I'm a huge
yeah.
Phoenix fan. I'm a huge. I need to have these guys. They're gonna have good matches no matter what.
Wow, already popping one for a tag team. So I know you're a tag team, Mark. So I knew you were gonna.
Three.
Possibly...
We got 3 people here, so I
Yeah,
can use
exactly.
them doing all kinds of things. So
okay, all right. So then I'm gonna stick with singles. I think I'm gonna have to go with MJF. I like. Obviously, I've gone on record many times saying the greatest talker of all time, which you can argue with me on that. But the fact that he's so young.
How can he be the greatest talker of all time?
I just think the guy just blows me away every time he opens his mouth. So,
oh my God.
The other thing that's really strong with me on MJF is his youth. You know, he's got many years ahead of him. He's been healthy. You know, I mean, hopefully I'm not jinxing him here, but he's been healthy. So I think that he's got many years to stay on the Rampage roster and make us a strong show. So MJF is my number 2, man.
All right. I'm not arguing with you about being a good pick. When you say stuff, best pay-per-view, best, it's like you never watched wrestling. I'm serious. He's a good promo, but there's been so many guys in the business as good as him or better.
Hundreds of great promos, but this
guy, man. All right, my number 3 pick is the House of Black. I want these guys. All 3 of them can work. I'm not a fan of the girl. That's all I'm gonna call her. But I like all 3 of these guys. They work really hard. I could do something with them. I'm putting them on Dynamite. As you can see, that triangle, House of Black, both kind of factions or teams, and that's who I want. House of Black.
Okay, well, I am being foisted into going with the Elite as my Rampage show, so I'm going to take the Young Bucks. I'm finally going to jump on the tag team, and I'm going to go with the Young Bucks. Even though Matt is apparently hurt right now, he's going to come back. Great promos, great, obviously, state-of-the-art in the ring. Everything they touch turns to gold. So I
great promos. I know you don't know anything about wrestling now. Good God, come on.
So Young Bucks, and I've got the Elite as my
DRO.
Planning on
you see
that.
this? You see what he's doing? God. So here we go. I'm going with. You're going to love the next pick for who I'm getting. You're just going to love it, Lance. Watch.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, 2 studs, man. Woo. They're going to be stars. Both of them's going to be huge stars, and I got them as a tag team. Plus, we talked about this a few times. I'm going in and out over here. I hope I don't do that with the microphone.
That's what she
is that we can feud them together. One of them's better than the other in the ring. Probably be, we may get 2 stars, but I'm really trying to get both, at least one out of these 2. But I still have a lot of time with them as a tag team. I wouldn't have stopped their push. You got to do something with these guys where they're hot, and that's what I'd be doing right now.
I totally agree with you on when they took the belts off of them was a mistake. As much as I don't like these guys, I do love Bowens. I think if you're going to get
really, you never said anything about. You don't like these? You don't like Caster?
You think?
You've never said anything.
I know. Hardly anybody knows this, but no, I agree with you in the sense that they should not have cooled them off the way they did when they took the belts on them. There's no way.
That was even.
There was no reason to put it on the Guns. No reason.
None.
To get it to FTR, but that could have waited. But okay, that's a risky pick for you because, I just don't know. I think they're going to get cooled off. But, okay, in terms of youth, I'm going to go with some youth on my next pick, too. I'm going with Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, as my next pick. Again, for a similar reason on MJF in the sense that young, and I can build around him for many years. He's also been relatively healthy. I think the sky's the limit with this guy as far as the appeal to the women fans. And just good storyline, great worker. He's improved a hell of a lot since he's been there. So I'm going with Jungle Boy, also known as Jack Perry to us insiders.
Jack Perry, yeah. I'm so glad you said great. You didn't say great promo on that one.
I did not say great promo. He'll
Thank
get better.
God.
He's not horrid, but he'll get better.
Oh, he's horrid. All right, my next pick is... You notice how I have really learned how to say that. Let me go ahead and say it again for you.
Nice.
All right, that is my man. I tell you what, I'm going. You talk about going for youth, somebody that's unproven, somebody that he may not do anything in the business, but to me, and I've said this, I said this on our Rising Star episode. I think he's going to be huge, and I'm going to say this: I think he is the next Okada. That's just what I'm saying. He's good looking, excellent worker, talks pretty good. You can understand him, and they're fixing to do a huge program with him. And I would do the same program, but I would put Kenny since he's not going to be over there with Kenny Omega, then we'll have Kenny Omega's manager, who I can't even think of his name right now, over there with him. So there you go.
That'd be Don Callis, I believe.
Yeah, Don Callis. Hey, you remember him? Don Callis, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say to Cash it was a great promo.
I know. I should have said that. Yeah, since MJ don't give me a story. All right, your number 5 pick.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Moxley. I think you're gonna have to let me take Moxley here. So much left to give. Busts his ass. Can I say great promo here? Are you allowing me?
Oh, I like John Moxley, and he was my next pick. So.
Okay, I stole that one from you. So yeah, Moxley's got to be my next pick. So I got some, ill-advised this turn with him, making him a heel now and making the Blackpool Combat Club heels, the BBC.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I feel like that was a snap judgment. They just rushed into that. I don't know. But anyway, that being said, Moxley's a great performer. Was the Wrestler of the Year last year in the Observer poll. So how can you go wrong with Moxley and Omega? My God, what a great roster I got here.
All right, sounds good, man. I can't. I have a hard time with this. Technical difficulties. Moving this fucking. All right, I'm going to get my next guy right here.
All right.
Roosh.
Wow.
I know it. I'm going with the total different. Look out, man. I'm not going with the proven guys. There's nobody who's proven. CM Punk here. Rest of everybody else, young. Yeah, Roos is just never, except for ROH, he had a run, but it was during the time when we didn't have a crowd. Been huge in Mexico and just a talent. If done right, could easily be wearing the AEW world title, and that was what I would be pushing if I was running Dyn-O-Mite.
Well,
all right, your turn.
You left.
Great promo too.
These guys sitting there. You left these guys. You're going with you need the subtitles on your roster apparently. So you left these guys sitting there for me. You leave me no choice, but I have to take FTR. I need somebody to feud with the Bucks. So I've now got 2 of my tag teams that are going to set me up for future success. So I've got FTR and the Young Bucks. So FTR's got to be my next pick. Again, relatively young guys, been around, good hands, as they say, but have really popped and have really become huge stars in the last year or so.
They're stars. I wouldn't refer to them as good hands because that would mean that they've never been pushed as a champion or anything. And
I think that the expression "good hands" is not meant as an insult. I know it can be interpreted.
No, it's not. It's not for me.
Great
it's not
workers,
insult.
Great technicians, great in the ring. That's what I mean when I say good hands. Just great workers, So good all-around guys. And like I said, if I'm going to build a tag team division, you tell me it can't get much better than having the Bucks and
I agree. All right, here we go. My next pick. Too much work in this because I got too much silence going on here. All right, my next pick, and I've heard. I don't know if you know this, but she is pretty. I'm going with my first lady of the evening.
I've heard this.
Toni Storm.
What?
Really been working hard recently, not having a bad match. She's working everybody. Toni is at the level of maybe only a few other girls in AEW, and I think even in the business wise, she's really one of the top girls. They didn't use her to her potential in WWE, and I'm so glad to see AEW being able to use her, and I would use her too there on Dynamite.
Well, first off, I have to make sure we go over. Tony Storm is not a lady of the evening, even though you just said that. Uh, so we got to make sure that we're not angering Juice Robinson here. But good pick, I'll give you that. Good pick and good as your first female.
You're a
pick. I think
pervert,
that's
is
a
what you
solid
are.
choice.
It was never meant
You
as a
said
lady of the evening.
Come on.
I said
Lady
my
of the
first lady of the evening, as in this afternoon. My first lady to pick. You're a pervert.
And quite frankly, I don't think she is your first lady of the evening, but that's beside the point. So anyway, all right. So so I will go with my next pick. I'm not ready to take a female yet, so I'm gonna go with
I bet you're not.
I think I'm gonna go with Hangman Page. Again, a young guy, has a world of potential ahead of him. I has already been the champion, so I like Hangman Page. I'm gonna shout out to Eric Crone on this one. So I've got Hangman.
Hangman Page to me is just
building
really
that strong singles roster.
It's just boring, boring. You know what's something I'm noticing here? This is like what? This is the seventh pick. Have you noticed? You're real safe, Lance. So safe with all these. This looks like the normal Dynamite roster, the normal AEW roster.
Because
I'm not safe, Lance, because the next pick I'm going with
fixing Rampage.
is
Yep.
Will Hobbs, baby. I'm getting Will Hobbs, and I'm gonna push him like he should be pushed.
Okay.
All right, and your next pick?
JR calls him Willie Hobbs. Willie Hobbs.
Willie Hobbs, baby. Willie Hobbs. You know, my
Yeah,
grandmother's name was.
I'm safe. You can say that I'm safe, but I'm repairing this bad show that nobody watches. So I need star power on that show. Put it that way, too. So, all right, my next pick, I think I am ready to take a female. So I'm going with Jamie Hayter as my next pick. I think that, again, we can build around her. Attractive, hard worker, can speak. I will go with her over Baker because I think she has more upside going forward than Britt Baker does. I think Britt Baker
I agree 100% with you.
We'll
she was
Maybe
actually going to be my next pick. She was going to be my next pick. She's not thick, just has a big booty. But yeah, one of my favorite there. I think her and Tony Storm have been top girls in the business, you know, and I don't watch Stardom because they all look like children. So Jamie Hayter was a great pick, and you could build they're building it right now, but if you had her just on Rampage instead of, remember, with this draft, we're doing like the WWE used to do, in the sense that we're not going to cross over into the big shows and such. I'm going, as you, I already put them, as you can see, I already put them down. I love this team. I got a lot of tag teams. I'm going to be strong with tag teams. And I'm putting Top Flight because one of them's going to be hurt all the time, so I can use one of them as a singles wrestler. I'm sorry, guys. But yes, I love these guys. I think both of them are really good. Dante has a little bit more than his brother, and Dante does stuff I've never seen done. He reminds me of when you see, and I mentioned some other wrestlers like this, but when you see them do stuff like that, they're so innovative, and they've been watching tapes and they're like, can we do it this way? And that's what I really like about them. They're so innovative. I would maybe slow them down a little bit, but I would use them. And as you can tell, it's kind of a young roster. Yeah, I like the young ones. Look, what? But yeah, going with Top Flight as my next pick.
So all right, we pretty much cleaned out tag division. I'm looking at what's left, and there's really not much.
Sorry
left,
about that.
So I think I'm going to have to stray away from the tag division on this. I think I'm going to go with Darby Allin as my next pick. I think, again, I'm going young on this one. A lot of upside. Obviously, the guy is fierce. Will do whatever. The guy is already reached stardom level. He's one of the pillars, as they say. So I got to have Darby Allin as my next single.
Guys, I want to apologize if my voice comes in and out on this. I'm having to move back and forth. We're putting this on the screen. So, my next pick is Bandito. That's right. My next pick is Bandito. I don't think they've used him correctly. I've seen him on other shows that use him correctly. I'm going to say something here, but I really think that I could book him as an AEW Rey Mysterio, doing something where he would be huge in the Mexican market and be. I'll go probably pick some more Mexicans. As you can see, I got 3 Mexicans so far, but this is one of those 4, by the way. This is one of those guys to me with the mask, with the whole deal. I'm really about the mask wrestlers, and I think you could do huge with him. I love his gimmick. I just don't think they've done enough to get him over. You know, he got a first match he lost, and so forth and so on. But Bandit, I can't even say it now. Yeah, him. So that was my number 10 pick. Bandito.
So, all right, my number 10. I think I'm going to have to go with my second lady of the evening, as they say. I'm going to go with, I know you're going to scoff at this one, but I'm going to go with Sky Blue because I see, again, a lot of potential there. In looking at the other women on the roster, I mean, there's one that stands out I should have grabbed, and you might get her. But outside of her, I see a lot more potential with Sky Blue in terms of the future. Young, good looking. We don't know if she can talk, and they never let her talk, so who knows if she even can. But I think that there's a lot of upside with Sky Blue. I think to stop jobbing her out Dark Elevation.
All right. I don't see it with her. I'm really not. I see she's, got a lot of potential, but I would, it wouldn't be a person that I pick by 20 people for a roster. I agree with everything you said. She has potential, blah, 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 but I don't know. I think I would have a hard time making her a star. I really do. I think I would have a hard time. All right. That was 10 picks, 10 picks apiece right there. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, our 10 other picks for Dyn-O-Mite and Rampage. And this is Dyn-O-Mite Draft Day. Woo-hoo. All right, we're back. We're back. Any other ideas? You could see my deal would be I would have to sit down and map out, but I really want to, and you got 2 of the best tag teams in AEW on your roster, but I would want to do multiple people in matches, and then when you concentrating on the singles wrestler, then you have those 2 or 3 guys that you can put in the main events. That's why I looked at it the way I did with more teams. Also with teams, you could do all kinds of fun stuff on the house shows. So I had 2 teams. We would have a singles match to open the show. The second match would be the other 2 guys of the teams in a single match, and the heels would interfere, putting the heels over the baby face, and then the baby faces would run out and challenge us for a tag team match in a semi-main event later. Then we would put over the baby faces in the semi-main event. So it's just one of those little fun things where you can use them as singles wrestlers, you can use them as tags. And we're working on Dyn-O-Mite and Rampage. We're not really worried about Dark or anything like that. So anything that they're doing over there, they can do. But we want to concentrate on our people right here up front and center. And I got another pick, so I am going to go with Bryan Danielson. So Brian Danielson, the Dragon.
Hey, you got him. Damn you.
Whatever you want to call it. That is my pick. Big fan ever since, even in MCW, he was here in the Memphis area. As the American Dragon, trained by Shawn Michaels. Shawn was one of my favorite, and he had a hell of a class there. But always been a fan of his. Spoke with him at a con. He was super nice, cool, and remembered, everything. Well, that was before he went through all the head trauma. But yes, Bryan Danielson, I'll go with him. He's going to be the vet. He's one of those proven guys. Like I said, with CM Punk, and Bryan might be the second the second guy that everyone would know about. Now, let me just say, I understand what you were saying, and I call you safe picks because you are trying to rebuild Rampage. In my feeling with Dynamite, is I'm on the opposite end. I may be able to take a chance by getting the House of Black, CM Punk, Top Flight, getting these people because I got a bigger audience. And if I'm putting on good wrestling and good angles, I can keep that audience with a different roster. I can understand what you're doing there. So, greatest promo though.
Well, I mean, my show is going to be moved down to 7 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. and it's going to be 2 hours long. So I'm going to have, and they're not going to be battling with the guys on your roster for airtime, because
right. That's what I like the most. Keeping them separate. Yeah, keep them separate. That's what I always loved about what WWE did.
You talked about how I have two of the best tag teams. So do you, my friend. House of Black. You got House of Black and Death Triangle. You got 6 guys there that you can work with. So you got me in that regard, is you got extra people and just as good a workers. So anyway, but I think we're pretty evenly matched as far as the tags go. I wanted Danielson, but since you stole that one out from under me, I'm going to go a little out on a limb on this one and go with Swerve Strickland as my next pick because I love this guy. I feel he's been misused everywhere he's been except Underground. Lucha Underground was using Swerve so well. And I think that he was treading water in NXT. Had some good matches.
He was the champ. Yeah, he had the belt. I don't think he was really misused there. I don't think he was
the limit for him. Coming up, they blow him up, So
great worker.
So I like Swerve.
Really good on the microphone.
He can talk. He can do the rap stuff. Fantastic worker. Yeah, good talker. He can do the rap thing. He can fluctuate between heel and face evenly. He's good at both roles. Hell of a worker. Just love the guy. So I want to see them use him right and push Swerve Strickland as a superstar.
All right. I can't say a bad thing about that guy. I gave you hell about picking him as a rising star with the group that he was with, but after seeing him do some stuff in Defy and watching him own AEW in his promos, like you said, he could do babyface or he could do heel. And here's the thing about the man, he's so talented outside the ring. He could sing, he could rap, he's doing everything. So yeah. And I really like what they're doing with him now, but I wish we would see, and you can't push everybody, but think about it. Swerve Strickland against Kenny Omega, against John Moxley, against, you got a roster there that you could have him going against a bunch of good people. So here we go. Let me go ahead and paste my next pick.
Good stories.
And my next pick is Ruby Soho. So I got another girl on here. So we ended up with Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. I'm a big fan of hers. And, I've talked about this, but the reason why I'm a big fan of hers is because of you telling me, hey, why don't you see about watching that freelance show that they're putting it on their website. I actually watched it on their website that night. As you were there, I watched the show and become a huge fan of hers. And what was her name back then? She had a mask on. And
she was Sally Stitches.
Yes, Sally Stitches that night. Yes. And she worked a guy that night, and it was just an excellent match. I've been a fan of hers when she's in WWE, and a fan of hers now. So yeah, I really like her, and I like the music. I like the look.
A worker and honestly just a sweetheart of a person too. So having been able to meet up with her at Stardom, at Shimmer, and at Freelance, so always in her corner.
You went to Stardom? Was there a bunch of little kids wrestling? A bunch of little kids wrestling.
So all right, you're leaving me, boy. I thought this guy was gonna get grabbed up. I thought for sure you were gonna take Ricky Starks before I had a chance to take Ricky Starks, but give me Ricky Starks. Obviously, he's got the look. He did that promo about maybe, 2 months ago that just blew everybody away. I'm like, holy shit, that guy has a promo in him too. He's a good talker, good character. I think they could do more developing for him. But man, Ricky Starks, so much potential. Give me Ricky Starks, man.
I'm
Or
just
Ricky
not high on
Starks,
him
as
like
Taz would
everyone.
call him.
Yeah, not as big of a fan of his as everyone else is, but I do see everything. Everybody that's worked with Ricky, that he started with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, did some stuff there, and you don't hear bad things about him. And he's a really good friend of one of your favorite wrestlers, Cody Rhodes. So there you go. I know that's the reason you like him.
Yep.
And my next pick is, and you put a question mark
Adrenaline.
about him. You know that's an angle, right? He's at ROH, and it's an angle. He still works for AEW, and I would bring him back to Dynamite. I love Eddie Kingston. He is one of those guys that, I look at these guys that I got. Maybe not a CM Punk, but he really a Roosh, Will Hobbs, Bandito. You're looking, CM Punk. What the hell? That would be a hell of a program there, because Eddie don't like CM Punk, and it feels like he doesn't like him for sure. So I'm going with Eddie Kingston as number 13.
All right. Let's see. I think I can wait on her to take her. So I'm gonna go with, because I don't think you're gonna take her out from under me. So I'm going with Keith Lee on my next pick. Keith Lee. I am the biggest mark for Keith Lee. The guy can work. The guy's got charisma out the yin yang. Has been misused. Let's see. Everywhere he's been since NXT, they used there. But just did nothing as the Bearcat or whatever the hell it was supposed to be on the main roster, and he really went nowhere. They broke up the tag team with Swerve way too soon. That was like in week 2 they were having issues.
Yeah, but they have a habit of doing that. Everybody's got fight with each other, so it's so silly.
Yep. I love the charisma for Keith Lee. The guy can talk. He's eloquent, worker. Love Keith Lee on my roster all day. Keith Lee.
I agree 100%. I'm a big Keith Lee fan. I like him. I would love to see him in a ring with Kenny Omega. The thing about it is they just, I don't know. I don't think anyone's tried to give him the full, like you said, the full potential, except maybe NXT. But yeah, huge fan. Now, here's a guy who has been having some really good matches in ROH and in on Dynamite, and he was good in Lucha Underground, but I become a huge fan of his probably in the last 6 weeks, and I'm going to go with A.R. Fox, unproven to be a star, except maybe some of the stuff he did. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the stuff he did in Lucha Underground, this is a guy that would do anything in the wrestling business to get over, and I would be excited of pushing him up to the top there. Did I lose you?
See it? Guy's got a lot of potential. No, I'm here.
Okay.
So I can see that pick. Guy's got a lot of potential. He's been brought in, I don't want to say like as an enhancement talent, but that's kind of how I see him now. They could have brought him in and put him, pushed him a little bit heavier. But yeah, I can see that pick. I like that. A good young guy for sure. I think I'm gonna have to go with the pickings are a little bit slim here. Let's go with Adam Cole as my next pick to break things up a little bit. I know there's the injury risk and the concussion situation that he had not that long ago that had him out for quite a while. But I think that now is the time, if we're actually talking about live, right now, his injury return story can mimic the Cody return as far as pushing him and putting the title on him. I think now is the time. He would be the one for me that would take it off of MJF probably at All Out. Is build him right now. Might be too soon for that, but maybe towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. Build him up and get him ready and have him be the one with the, winning the fans over because he's coming back from the bad injury situation that he had. So
I like the story, but I wouldn't ever put a major belt on him. He's way too small for me. And and there's so many better workers in AEW he is good, don't get me wrong, but I don't. Yeah. I like Adam Cole, don't get me wrong, but it's just not. When you see him standing up against all these other people in the business, and that's not part of his, Phoenix that's kind of part of his gimmick. He's small, he comes back, blah, blah. I don't know. I just can't see. Everyone pushes Adam Cole more than I would. Just put it that way.
Yeah.
I may be,
Yeah.
maybe out of my mind, but that's the way I look at it. All right, pick number 15. It'll leave us 6 more picks. So we're gonna go with pick number 15. I'm going with, and this is gonna be a really strange pick, and this would be probably one that you could laugh at. Because I don't think here's why I'm picking him, because I don't think he's even come close to his potential. I think he's when he comes as a worker, he's okay in the ring, but I think he can be really good. And I'm going to tell you what I would do with him is I would put him in the role as his dad was in, and my pick is Brian Pillman Jr. And I would have this kid just go effing nuts on people because he's had those mental problems. He's had all that. He's had things happen to him in life. And I really think a lot of people would believe it, that he would eventually lose it if he could get down that character, the Brian Pillman character. So I'm going with Brian Pillman Jr. That's the 15th pick for me.
Don't see it. I around for.
I know you're not a fan, but I really am. Yeah.
Past a certain level, I think that he's reached his apex as far as talent goes. So, but okay, it's a young guy for you to build on. So I'll give you that. I think at this point you're gonna question this one, but I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill on this one because I see it in Jade. Talked about this many times before. Has she gotten much better ring? Not so much, but how good did China ever get in the ring? I think that she is the latter day China. I think she's got the look. She can talk. They kind of putzed around with the whole faction thing with her, but I think she can be a single superstar. So I didn't want to take her anywhere near the end, but in my bottom, take Jade Cargill. I think that we can build around her somewhat more in the women's division.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I'm a fan of hers. I think of what I am is I'm disappointed in that she has not improved at all to me. Not at all. I think she's okay if she's in there with somebody really good, but the whole, she says the same thing every interview. She's fantastic looking.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of pluses for her, but I think she needs to be on the road, wrestling, if they're going to have her wrestle long matches, 12 to 15 minutes, she's got to be on the road coming up with the 12 to 15-minute match and having someone work with her. But, yeah, good. I'm a fan of hers. I am. All right. So a guy that I did not like.
She needs a ring general for sure, and she does need the practice. I feel like part of the issue maybe you're having is the fact that they've let her stagnate. They really haven't.
Oh yes, very much so.
Anything to chew on. They've given her no storylines, just the breakup of the baddies and all that nonsense. But they just keep feeding her basically B level and C level stars. It's never her against Britt or her against Jamie Hayter. It's just her beating.
Right. And it's okay when you're it's just I don't know this for a fact, but let me just say, this is kind of the way boxing is. I'm not saying the person that done this has thought about boxing, but you kind of try to build your star. They used to do the same wrestling old school where you'd have them winning squash match. What they've done with her is give her the Goldberg winning streak, but then, she's got the belt. And I don't even think she has the skills of Goldberg, but Goldberg also went in and got out really quick in all his matches. And she's had the problem of doing that. And it's not just her fault. It's who is putting together the matches. A girl like her, and in this streak, she has to continue to beat them. I said this about Ronda Rousey. I think they leave her in the matches too long. She is never going to be a great wrestler. Yeah. Jade may never be a great wrestler. She may be China, as you said. So you use her as a gimmick. I love her look. I like everything about her. But like I said, I'm disappointed. All right, my next pick.
Yep.
I didn't like this guy when he first came in. We both made fun of him and his tag team partners. I've grown to really like him. I watch almost every one of his matches when they're on a Rampage. If he's in a main event, I really like his matches. I like what you could do with a guy like this, and he reminds me of Zack Sabre Jr. He reminds me of him in the sense that he's just hold for hold, kind of the Bryan Danielson. I could feud him with Bryan Danielson, put him with Bryan Danielson. I could do all kinds of things. Another youth, a guy that's young that I could push. He's got a lot of independent praise too. Is I think he's the PWG champion right now. So that gives you a lot of praise there independently. So Daniel Garcia is my 16th pick.
Okay, you actually flipped the coin because I have Sammy Guevara as my next pick. So the two that are working together, kind of rivals in the Jericho Appreciation Society. But Sammy Guevara, so much potential. Guy is obviously fearless, almost as fearless as Darby. Guy. Promos, okay, so. Can probably get better. But I like Sammy Guevara. I think that if he can keep his head on straight and not become a head case that we're afraid he might become, I like the upside on Sammy Guevara. So I'll see your Daniel Garcia and raise you Sammy Guevara on my roster.
I'm a huge fan of Sammy's, and I think he could slow. And it sounds like I'm an old timer, but he could slow things down and become not only a good wrestler, but a great wrestler. Reminds me of Eddie Guerrero, especially reminds me of Eddie Guerrero when he was real young. Doesn't always put everything in the right spot. He does a lot of stuff where you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it you don't have to go through a table in that match. You just want to, it's kind of like quit showing out. Let's start working. And he could do all the fun matches. A guy who I would just love to see in the G1 and be with a lot of good workers to see what they could do with him. I'm a huge fan. He was on my list. So you got one of my guys. I'm going to go with a veteran here. Somebody that can have a good match with almost anybody. He has good matches on TV. They've been doing some fun stuff with him recently. And he always, every time he was in ROH, and I watched the ROH pay-per-views, the Briscoes and this guy, you would always watch their matches because you knew you were going to have a good match. So here's a guy who can have a good match with anybody, and he also can help the younger talent that I got here and walk them through a good match, and that's Jay Lethal. I'm picking Jay Lethal as my – is that 17th pick? 17th pick.
2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, 17th pick. All right. I can't argue with that. Guy is so talented. I always want to say how boring he is, but boy, he's so good in the ring. He holds everything together. Good promo, good everything, good character. Good pick on Jay Lethal. I think that he can be the ring general for many of the younger guys that you have on your roster that can really pull them along and get them going where they
and I thought about Christian Daniels in that position too, and always have thought of him. But I think Jay would be. I think maybe Jay's not younger, but in my mind, Jay's younger, and I picked Jay in that role as the general.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So, all right, I'm going to go out on a limb. I need a tag team to complete my tag roster, and I feel like these guys have been misused, and they've never really gotten anywhere near the potential that they have. I like Private Party. I like them a lot. I think that the one dude, Mark Quinn, has so much potential. I said that years ago in our breakout show about Mark Quinn himself, but Private Party, I think they can play the role that they've got playing now is what Private Party should do. And the smart-ass young guys that are spitting in the face of the veterans and stuff. Private Party should be those guys. Private Party can work. They got the mega push when they beat the Bucks on the first episode of Dyn-O-Mite or whatever that was. So I think that they've been misused. I think they should be rebuilt, and Private Party should be contenders in the tag division for me.
As much as I'm a tag team, Mark, never been a fan of theirs, and you can have them every day of the week. As my daddy used to say, I wouldn't walk across the street to watch a Private Party match. There we go. My next pick, we only got 3 more, so we're coming up here. I'm picking this guy, Lance, and I fed the Undertaker pizza, right? I fed the Undertaker pizza. I love I'm not just a guy that loves like 5-star matches. I love the midgets, I love the fat people, and I love the monsters. I always have. So I'm going with Luchasaurus, and this Luchasaurus that I'm going to push is not going to be a babyface
Mhm.
at all. Never. He's going to be kind of like the Kane character, the Undertaker character, who Undertaker turned babyface. But I want Luchasaurus to be just badass, maybe tone down some of his high flying and just be the monster of the group. So he's my monster of AEW or my monster of Dynamite.
All right. I will go here with a good pick. I think that where has he been? By the way, is he hurt or what? Where is he? Ever since he lost to Jungle Boy, he hasn't been around for a couple months. It feels like. But I can't fault that pick. I like Luchasaurus as well. I'm gonna stay out on this limb that I'm on, and I'm gonna go with Willow Nightingale as my next pick. I think there is so much likability, so much charisma. She can work. Who cares about the promos? She busted her ass on that death match that they did, or that street fight, whatever that was, the street fight that they did with Ruby Soho. I just see so much upside with Willow Knight, and she can appeal to. She's got a kind of like Bailey with the kids loved Bailey, and Bailey was such a big superstar as a baby face. So I think that there's that potential with Willow if they start using her the right way going forward. So I like Willow
Guys,
as my
if
next
you,
spot.
I agree 100%. You know, I like her. She's, and I think she's hot as a 4th of July also. If you want to do a drinking game, when you listen to this, we do have a drinking game. If you drink every time Lance or I say potential, you will be drunk by the end of this
Yeah,
episode. Let me tell you.
upside.
But yeah, you know I'm a huge
Yep.
fan of. You sent me a picture this week, and I said, "Damn, Willow Nightingale was in the picture." The other was some little kid with a board. I don't even know who that was, God. But yeah, just a huge fan of hers. Overall, I agree with everything you
Yep.
say about her. She was on my list, so uh, I'm gonna go my last two picks, and I'm not gonna pick them both at the same time. But my last two picks is kind of uh, guys that I don't think they pushed them. And we say this a lot. Well, they didn't push them enough. I know you can't push everybody all the time, but I'm gonna give Luchasaurus a opponent, and I'm a huge fan of this guy. I met him one time, and when he worked for TCW. Super nice guy, huge in person, and not as big as Billy Gunn, but Lance Archer. I'm going with Lance Archer as my next to last pick in for Dynamite.
I thought when you were saying big guy, I thought you were going with Wardlow for the Wardlow possibly against Luchasaurus, but okay. Lance Archer, good worker, a lot of fun in the ring. Can't fault that pick. We're like some of the older guys. I think we're getting for me some of the older guys that I kind of overlook because I want to build for the future. So I'm gonna come back a little bit and go with Orange Cassidy as my next pick. Obviously, he's become a superstar with that silly act. I think they could go places with that act. The shrink changes personality entirely, but the guy can go. The guy can work. We've seen him in great matches. We've seen, but if I'm at number 19 now, I'm almost to the end of my roster. So I'm gonna go with a low level pick for Orange Cassidy.